Going to the cloud. All right. I don't think it did it. Okay, so welcome to Thriving with Chronic Pain Session 2. We are going to start with just our action plan reviewing that we did last time, and then we'll get into some problem solving. We'll do mind-body connection today, sleep, and then get into a relaxation technique that really can help you if you have a hard time falling asleep. And then we'll talk about next week's agenda, and then we'll close from there. And so as we're going through this, usually this workshop is 6 weeks long, but it's 2 hours each session. And so since we're 6 weeks, 1 hour, for virtual makes it a little bit tougher. Sometimes I might have something on the agenda and then we won't get to it. Okay. Because we run out of time. And so I'll just put that on the next week. And then sometimes what I've been doing is I've been combining 2 lessons into one, which sometimes can work. So it's been going well so far. Okay, so last week I had you, we didn't go over the action planning, but last week I had everyone do an action plan. And so I want you to share your experience with completing your plan. And then just some points for reporting back to the group. What was your action plan and how well did you accomplish that action plan? You can use the words accomplished, partially accomplished, was not accomplished. If you changed to another plan, if you changed it, what did you change it to and how did that work? And if you weren't able to complete your action plan, what were your barriers or what caused you to change your action plan? And then if you change it, how did you change it? So you want to go first, Marilyn?
Right. My action plan was to take time out of my busy day to honestly stop and take deep breaths. And it was a really difficult week last week because I was just back from pneumonia. And it started this week. It's been horrific. I've had to stop and take many breaks. So I've taken more than just one break to stop and take the deep breath. And it really does help. And it makes me slow down. In fact, so working with the kids, it makes me slow down, it makes them slow down, and they realize that, it's good for all of us just to stop, take the deep breath, relax, and then,
Yeah, well, that is definitely good awareness, and it's not only good for the lungs, but it's good for the mind and body and to stress less. And so good job. Very good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so sometimes when we go through this action planning, there could be times where things don't go so well. You might have this plan and and you either had to change it, which is being a good self-manager. Sometimes, you get some barriers or things stand in your way, and we'll definitely talk through those. And if moving forward from today and moving on, we're going to go through some of these problem solving steps because they're really powerful. So the first one is, let's say you have an action plan, and let's say I'll just give you an example. Let's say you're at work or you're, wanting to get a lot done in the house, and you feel like at work you're not getting all your work done, or there's poor performance at work, or you're at home and you're not able to, get all the things that you want to get done. Is it really that you weren't able to get things done, or were you really tired and fatigued? So kind of looking at, oftentimes we think that, oh my gosh, so-and-so is doing a really bad job at work and not getting her work done, but that's not the problem. The problem is she's just so fatigued that she can't get her work done. And so the real problem, kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty, is she's so fatigued she can't get her work done. And so we can kind of look at that with any problem that we have. What's kind of contributing to, and what is the real root problem to it. And then what we want to do is, after we identify the problem, we really want to list ideas to solve the problem. And And so you just kind of start brainstorming and just get an idea, get a whole list going, things that, different things that you could try to solve it. And then the third thing is you want to select one method to try. So you have this big long list right here. You can write it all down in a notebook, and then you try one. Make a plan around it and you try it. And then maybe after about a week or so, you can assess the results. Did that idea solve that problem? Great. If not, then we move on to number 5. You have this whole list here, so substitute another idea from your list and then go back 1 through 4 again. And if it's still not solved after another week of trying something else, and then another week trying something else, so you kind of went through your whole list, then utilize other resources like talk to friends. Maybe somebody else has gone through something similar. Say, what worked for you, just to get some more ideas. Some, families or doctors, and then go back to that 3 to 5. It looks like Dawn has joined us. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. We're just talking about some problem solving as it pertains to our action planning. And so I'm recording this session so I can kind of send that over to you, the beginning, and then you can watch it if you'd like. So we're just going to finish with this, and then if you want, I'll have you go through your action plan and let me know how that went. So we'll see if Dawn is up for that. And then the last thing, after you utilize your other resources, then the 7th thing is you accept that maybe the problem may not be solvable right now, because it might not. And that's okay. We can always revisit it at another time, and then, go from there, because sometimes there might be some barriers in your way that it is how life is right now. So, and we'll kind of get through kind of some of these as more people come in with their action plans, and we discuss those. So Dawn, did you want to go through your action plan with us? Maybe not right now, but if he comes on, we can ask him again. Okay, so we have this mind-body connection, and we talked a little bit about this last time. And so we know that chronic pain is a disturbance of the body's natural pain system. Kind of talked about that nervous system last time, and how the nerves are responsible for sending messages back to the brain that says, even though this injury is either healed or isn't supposed to be in pain, the nerves still send that connection to the brain that says, ouch, this hurts. And we see that a lot in like amputees, where they still, if they have their hand or arm cut from the elbow, they can still feel in their brain, they still feel the hand pain, even though they don't have a hand. So our brains are so very amazing. And the other day I was cooking something at the stove, and I accidentally touched just, this part of my finger on the hot pot. And I was like, ooh, it wasn't enough to burn. It was just so sudden. I pulled my hand away. It was fine. But then my knee, I was wearing shorts, and my knee touched the cold stove oven, and it was cold. And I was like, wow, it was like the same sensation. My brain picked up almost the same of the heat and the freezing cold oven. It was almost the same situation. And then I could still feel on my knee, I could still feel that kind of, that was painful, even though it was cold. And then hours later, even to the touch, it wasn't just that one spot, it was my whole knee that was just so sensitive to the touch. So, this happened just a couple days ago, and my nerves were sending signals, and my brain was thinking that my knee was burnt. So it was kind of an interesting thing. And it took a day or so for that sensation to go away. So it's just kind of interesting. And we know that, and science shows, all the research shows that the mind and body are interconnected. And so our mind has an important influence over our body. And our emotions That's supposed to say feelings and thoughts directly influence our pain and how it affects us. So how we feel, what our emotions are, and all of our thoughts. We have thousands of thoughts that go through our mind every single day, every single minute. I mean, our mind is a thought generator. It's meant to think. So, so what we think can be very, very powerful. So we really want to look closely at this relationship between our mind and body and really explore the ways to manage our pain and other symptoms that we experience by kind of experimenting with our emotions and our feelings and our thoughts. And so right now we're going to do something called thinking activities. And so these techniques involve using our minds to really manage pain and symptoms and can help us feel better. So thinking activities. And so this is part of our pain management toolbox. So using our mind, and we'll also be action planning again at the end. We were going to do understanding emotions, but we're not going to have time to get into that today, but we'll be using our mind, talking about sleep, and then get into a breathing activity. So, so bear with me. And we did some problem solving steps. So I didn't really underline that very well, but okay. So what I want you to do is just kind of sit back here and just kind of take this in. So it's not always mind over matter, but really the mind does matter. It's so very powerful. Our emotion and our thinking parts of our brain are really directly connected to our pain pathways. We know that we've done a lot of research on this, and it's can be very powerful. Now, last time what I had you do is sit and relax and kind of sit with the pain and just kind of think about the how your pain is changing at any one moment. And a lot of you had said that, oh, it's kind of an interesting. I noticed it was kind of a moving type of pain, and it changed. And oftentimes when we sit and we have the pain, we tend to try to control it, and our whole body might seize up, and because we're trying to control the pain. When we kind of relax into it, we kind of can just be in that moment and be with our pain. It can be very powerful to see how much it's changing, because everything is changing. Our mind is changing, our bodies are changing. And so what we're doing is we're just kind of going through and kind of thinking about that emotion part of our brain and our thinking part of our brain, because they're directly related to the pain pathways. And our mind is a very, very powerful tool, even so much so that we don't oftentimes give enough credit to it. And so let's experiment a little bit. So what I want you to do is close your eyes and get really comfortable. Okay, good, good. And so next thing what I want you to do is put your hand up kind of right underneath your mouth a little bit, right by your chest, and kind of hold your hand kind of like you're cupping something. And as your eyes are closed, I want you to imagine that you have a lemon in your hand. And you can kind of feel, let's say it's a lemon slice. You can kind of feel the yellow rind is kind of bumpy. You can smell the citrus aroma. It's just a really vibrant yellow. And go ahead and smell that lemon. You know, it smells citrusy and it just smells really good. Now what I want you to do is take a big bite of that lemon. Just take a big bite of it and let the juice just get into your mouth and just suck up all that lemon juice. Good. Now, what I want you to go ahead and open your mind, and what happened to your body while you were imagining, taking a big bite of that lemon? Did anything happen, John? Did you notice anything, or Marilyn?
I'm just getting started here.
That's okay. I'm recording this, so you can listen. I'll send that recording to you, and we just started ourselves. We're just talking about the mind-body connection. Did you notice anything when you bit into that lemon? Nothing happened? How about you, Marilyn? Did you notice anything?
Not so much.
Not so much? Well, my mouth started to water, and I had to, like, even talking about it, just thinking about it, my mouth started to water, and my lips started to pucker because of the sourness of the lemon. And so I did not have a lemon in my hand. And so our bodies and our minds are so, so very powerful that we can imagine having a lemon in our hand, and our body reacts to that so very powerfully. So the more you practice this, the better and easier it will become to get your mind to react to guided imagery and imagining things that are relaxing or that are there. And we'll be practicing these. So, but getting that mind body connection kind of back to, especially when you've been in chronic pain and things have been happening, sometimes that connection can be a little stunted. So we'll kind of work to kind of get that back, especially if you didn't kind of have that reaction to that lemon. We'll work on getting that kind of guided imagery back so that you can use that anytime and any place as it relates to pain management. So our mind is so, so very powerful. Like I had mentioned, my mouth started watering, I puckered, there's no lemon present. And this is just an example of how the mind can affect the body with very little effort. And it's so very true. And just imagine what we could do if we learn to use that power of the mind with our pain and other symptoms. So we will be learning a lot of things in this course. We'll be learning distraction today. We'll be talking about positive thinking. We'll be doing a body scan if we have enough time today, and then that guided imagery. And each are equally as powerful. And then, of course, a lot of people really like to use meditation or prayer, and those are equally as powerful. So if that's something that you like to do, then continue doing that. There's a lot of other activities listed in the book. So when you get that in the mail, check that out. So when we think about these thinking distractions and thinking activities part of our brain, I just want to caution you that these techniques that we are doing should not be used to overcome chest pain or sudden numbness or weakness on one side of the body. Of course, call 911, get medical help, because it might be a heart attack or stroke. So it's most important. So today we are going to do a short-term distraction. And this can be very, very powerful because the mind cannot focus on two things at one time. It just can't. It's our mind, it's almost like a continuous partial attention. We go from one thing and think about it, and then our mind gets distracted on something else, and then something else. So it's really hard for our body to, in our mind, to focus on two things at once. It just can't be done. And so thinking of it as a radio station. So there's many stations, there's many different things our mind can be distracted with, but only one radio station can come in well. So you might have thought after thought after thought, but your brain is only focused on that one thought before it goes to the next. So distraction is good to use when you have any like short-term activities that cause pain or discomfort or anxiety or troubled thoughts or trouble falling asleep or getting back to sleep after waking up in the middle of the night. So we're going to go through some of these distractions. So we're distracting our minds with an activity so symptoms won't be as intense. And this can take a lot of practice as well. And you might already do some of these things. So some of the examples are counting backwards by threes. So starting at 100 and going backwards by threes. So 100, 97, 94, going backwards from like that. Playing a baseball game in your head, thinking of a flower, a bird, or a make of a car for each letter of the alphabet, making plans for a future event in your head, or trying to think of all the words to an old song. And so you're just really kind of using all your mind and all the power in your mind to really focus and think on these. So you don't need anything. You don't need a radio. You don't need a book. You don't need anything physical. It's just all thinking. So what else? What are some other things that you can do besides the examples I gave you, or other things that you have tried? Or have you not ever tried any of these things?
I use purr a lot, especially trying to get back to sleep at night.
Sure. Yep. Don, you haven't used any of these?
No, I'm thinking about it though.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
I've done the number thing, but then my mind gets going too much and then I can't sleep. So
Sure. Yes. Yes. Yep. And that's just really good awareness. So I know, um, I worked really hard. He's going to be 14 in a couple weeks, but over the last few years, he um, really has a hard time sleeping and falling asleep. And so I go through the body scan with him, which I'll go through in a bit, or I'll have him he really likes go through a make of a car for every letter, or thinking of boys' names for every letter of the alphabet. Or thinking of an animal for every letter of the alphabet. And so it really helps him kind of, focus his mind on something, and then it can tire him out. So, and then, like you said, Marilyn, if something makes your mind go too much, is there something that's a little bit more soothing for you as a thinking activity? And so it can definitely take some time to kind of come up with something that really, really works for you. And so we're going to try this. We're going to experiment. So what I want you to do is first, I want you to focus all of your thoughts on your pain. And I'm going to be timing it for 30 seconds. And then what I want you to do is you'll be rating your pain on a 0 to 10, where 0 is the most painful. And if you don't have any pain right now, what I'd have you do is tighten your fist or lightly pinch yourself, just so you can feel it. So don't pinch yourself to harm you, but just a slight discomfort. So if it's a fist or a little pinch, or if you have pain right now, what I want you to do is think about that pain. And we are going to think about that pain for about 30 seconds. So give me just a second here. I'm just going to set a timer, and then are you okay? So just relax and think about your pain for 30 seconds. Ready and go. Okay, now go ahead and rate your pain between a 0 and 10. Go ahead and remember that, and just remember that number. Just kind of put a little pin in it. Okay, so now what I'm going to have you do is pick a distraction technique. So it could be one that we've already talked about. It could be playing a card game in your head, or a baseball game, or counting backwards from 100 by threes, or thinking of a name of an animal or bird or flower, or make of a car for every letter of the alphabet. So think of one of those. Which one do you want to try for this next experiment? What do you think, Marilyn? Which one are you going to try?
I already started. I was doing fruits and vegetables with the letters of the alphabet.
Okay, fruits and vegetables with every letter. How about you, Don?
I'm going to count backwards.
Okay, good. So if you were making a fist or pinching yourself, continue to do that as we go through. So what I want you to do is start thinking of your distraction, and go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you can open your eyes if they were closed and rate your pain between the 0 and 10, with 10 being most painful. And then remember that number, put a pin in it, and then let's reflect on that. So did either of you feel a difference between the first and second one? Do you feel a difference in your pain or your numbers different?
Yeah, I find it very annoying to concentrate on my pain because then it seems like it excels. But doing something distracting really does help. It brings down the numbers by 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
The thing that I would suggest is when I have this pain in my neck and shoulders, people you say rate it from 1 to 10 or something. I
Mhm.
rate it a 15 or a 20. I mean,
Sure.
the pain is so sharp that I scream and swear, and my wife gets mad at me.
Yes.
And it only lasts a couple seconds, if that.
Yes.
So what do I do with that?
Yeah, we'll actually be talking about kind of pain severity in a little bit. So
Okay.
yeah, yep, definitely. So it sounds like you both said there was a difference. When we really focused on your pain, it was actually more painful or uncomfortable. Did they seem like they were same lengths of time, or was one longer or shorter than the other?
Oh, the second one was much, much shorter. I didn't even get through the whole alphabet.
Okay. How about you, Don? What did you?
Um, I can tell what you're doing, but I'm concerned because I'm generating the pain by pinching myself.
Okay.
And I can't, I suppose I could create the other pain by moving a certain way, but
Sure.
there's no way, I'm sorry, but there's no way I could concentrate on anything else when that pain hits.
Right. Yes.
It is just too acute.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And acute. Yeah. That is okay. That's okay. And that's definitely good awareness. And so you're kind of like in survival mode with that acute pain. Your body needs you to focus on that for those few seconds, like you said, and then after it gets better. But yeah, this is kind of that chronic pain that's always there. So that's kind
Okay.
of, yeah, yep,
And that's not the case with me.
yep. And that's okay, but you have pain that's ongoing. So it's kind of the same thing. So some of these techniques will definitely really help, and you'll be thinking about them, and
Okay.
yeah. So actually, the first time when I had you focus on your pain, we went for 30 seconds. And the second time when I had you do distraction, I had you go for 45 seconds. So if you thought the second time was shorter, it was actually longer. So that's pretty
Okay.
impactful. Our brain is so very powerful. And so using thinking distraction is best during very short periods of time. So physical activities work for longer periods of time. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. It's kind of like if you go to a movie or you're gardening or you're reading, and those longer physical where you need a movie, you need to be out and gardening, or you need to be reading. And those things are really great. Sometimes you can really get into it and not even think about your pain. However, it's good to interrupt these long distracting activities to not overdo it and cause more pain and fatigue later. So sometimes we can get so involved in something where it can cause our chronic pain to be worse later.
Okay.
And we'll be talking about balancing activity and rest later on in the workshop. So any questions about that distraction? No, and like you said, Don, um, you have these really strong acute symptoms that happen suddenly and that you don't know when they're going to happen. And so it's the when you do that, or when you have those, it's good to take kind of just continue learning about what works and what doesn't. And it sounds like, do you feel like you need to kind of like stabilize yourself, or is it only when you're moving does it hurt? You can make it kind of go away if you're just sitting and laying there.
If I'm lying supine and just relaxed, it doesn't hurt. It never hurts. It never hurts.
Okay.
Never hurts when I'm sleeping. It never wakes me up. When I wake up in the morning, look up at the ceiling, I feel like I could take on the world. But as soon as I get up and start walking, I know better.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So you're definitely still in the healing stages of that acute pain. And how long have you had that pain?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Again, it's intermittent. And this has been going on for 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. And it's been after your surgery?
Yes, a couple of weeks. It didn't start till a couple of weeks after.
Okay.
Um, and I was at the Mayo Clinic yesterday. No, the day before yesterday, but Monday. What day is today? Wednesday. I was there Monday, and I've started some new medications. I'd share that with you if you're interested. But no, I'm just laying here and talking to you. I don't have any pain.
Good. Yeah. Yep. So, but
And
you don't always.
maybe the fact that I'm sitting here not moving and somewhat, shall we say, preoccupied or engrossed in talking with you is helpful in itself.
Sure. Yes.
That makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it does. Yep, it definitely does. So, it's good. That's really good awareness. So awareness is definitely key as it relates to what works for you and what doesn't. And trying different things. And yeah, like you mentioned, if you went to Mayo, got on some different medications, and did they say anything else? Did they do any testing?
Ask the question again, please.
At Mayo, did they do any other testing, or are they trying to figure out where the pain is coming from?
They call it, I think they call it nerve pain.
Yeah.
Is that a term that makes sense to you?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
And nerve pain, and it's probably somehow a byproduct of the surgery. They're fine with the surgery. They said all looks good, but I may have overdone my rehab almost a month ago,
Okay.
and that could have caused it. But I mean, I'm taking up all the time here. I don't dare drive a car, because if that hit
Yeah.
when I was driving, I'd be at a loss.
Right. Yeah. 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 And that's okay. That's good to, definitely good to know. And all pain is actually, comes from the brain, and it's all nerve pain. And it sounds like your pain is coming from actual stimulation of specific nerves in your neck and shoulder. So yeah, that's really interesting. And so we'll kind of continue exploring different things, and hopefully something will work. And it's going to take you some time to recover. Yeah. So we'll
Does
keep
this look familiar?
no, it doesn't.
Methylprednisolone.
Okay. Yep. That does.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm on. I took, you start with 6 and you go down. I'm doing that now.
Okay.
I can't tell you that it's done anything yet, but
Yeah, and we'll be talking about medication too.
okay, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. No, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. It's very helpful for me and very helpful for others in the group to kind of just hear and discuss what are any new treatments, or what's helping and what doesn't. So that's what I like about the workshop, is we can definitely learn from each other. So that's good. And like you had mentioned, like sleep isn't painful for you and you feel good when you sleep. How about you, Marilyn? Are you able to sleep well? I know you had already mentioned that, that, you know, that you can wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking and.
Yeah, so during my work week, I do take a sleeping aid, and then on the weekends, it doesn't matter as much, so I don't.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So maybe, we'll try some different things today that might work. Do you wake up because of the pain or because of just thinking?
A lot of times it's hip pain, yeah, from
Okay.
the position I'm laying in. So then I have
Yeah.
to calm the pain first and get back to sleep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and like this first sentence says, it challenge of getting a good night's sleep with chronic pain can be tough. But we do know that getting a good quality sleep on a regular basis can help manage pain and other symptoms. And so it doesn't even matter if you get 8 hours like we're supposed to, or 6 to 8 hours, as long as we can get some quality sleep when we are sleeping. So Marilyn, if you're able to get good quality before your hip hurts and then you take care of that and then you fall back asleep in good quality, that's ideal. So improving our sleep is a major goal of chronic pain management. And so when we sleep, we do know that sleep is medicine. Our body secretes hormones that help repair the wear and tear that normally occurs in daily life and to our tissues. And then it also helps our body and mind rest and recover. And so there's a lot of kind of plaque and bacteria, or plaque and just kind of wear and tear, even in our brain, that needs to be detoxed naturally when we sleep, and that's when that happens. And all of our short-term memories and our long-term memories are all stored in their right folders when we sleep. So there's a lot of things that happen when we sleep, and there really are no quick fixes to get a good quality sleep. Sleeping pills are not a long-term solution, but sometimes we do need those to sleep. So ideally, we would develop good sleep habits to manage sleep problems in a better approach. And so we're trying to find that balance between. And the amount of sleep needed is different for everybody, and everybody needs a good quality sleep. So some of these issues are we have trouble getting to sleep, or we wake up often. We're not able to get back to sleep once we awaken, or we wake up feeling tired and achy. And there could be many other issues as well. So we're going to brainstorm a little bit. So any idea is welcome. We'll just kind of fire off a bunch of ideas. So what are some ways to get a good night's sleep? What do you think? Dawn or Marilyn? How do you get a good night's sleep, or what are some ideas?
Well, I find that, I'm retired. I worked a long time, and if I woke up in the middle of the night and started thinking about something, I'm in trouble because I'll just keep thinking about it. So I've learned to tell myself if I wake up, it's okay. It's okay. You'll fall asleep again, and I do. But I've got to tell you, I do use. Right now, I'm using some Tylenol PMs. I don't normally, but I am now, and maybe I just shouldn't do that.
No, I mean, not necessarily. If it's helping you with some inflammation and pain, you can experiment a little bit too, and maybe try one day without it and see how it goes.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree with you.
Yeah. How about you, Marilyn? Do you have any ideas on getting good night's sleep?
For me, like on Friday night or Saturday, when I know I don't have to go to work the next day, I just go to bed a couple hours later, because usually I try to get to bed between 8:30 and 10. So if I wait until 10 o'clock, then I'm tired enough and I can usually fall asleep pretty quickly there. I usually fall asleep as I'm saying my prayers. So God has to forgive me every night for not completing my prayers.
Good for
Sure.
you.
But
Good for
praying
you.
really helps.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, some Some ideas here is to go to bed at the same time every night. And so Marilyn, you kind of even hit that, like when you need to go to bed earlier, which is harder because you don't always have to go to bed that early. And then with the time change coming up, oh my gosh, that is just a whole another beast for our bodies to get used to. And ideally we would get up the same time every day, even on the weekends. That's another way to get our circadian rhythm into place. Create a bedtime routine. Do kind of the same thing every night before you go to bed, because that will really help train the brain to fall asleep faster. Avoid caffeine, and that includes chocolate at least 4 hours or more before bed. I can't have any caffeine after noon, otherwise I'll be up. So, and just, that awareness is what's important, like what works for you and what doesn't. Avoid alcohol. It really interferes with the quality of your sleep. You feel like you're relaxing and resting, but your brain and body have so much detoxing to do because of the alcohol. Use earplugs if you're a light sleeper. If you smoke, ideally stop smoking, because nicotine is a stimulant, and it also nicotine really causes a lot of inflammation and prevents tissues from healing. And then make your bedroom as comfortable as you can, like good mattress, extra pillows if you need them, good temperature in the room. And then if you nap during the day, no more than 30 minutes. Get out in the sun every day, or get outside, get some nature every day. It really does help that circadian rhythm of your body and your natural body clock. And then if you take a diuretic, which is a water pill, right before you go to bed, sometimes that can cause you to wake up a lot, to have to go to the bathroom. So if that's the case, ask your doctor if you can take them in the morning instead. And some people they can do that. So this little cartoon says, I think it's a cat. Cat says, "I'm really good at sleeping. I can do it with my eyes closed." So that's kind of cute. So those are just some good ideas to kind of think of. If there's something here that you are like, oh, maybe I'll try that. Sleep is medicine. Sleep is so very, very important.
Can
Yeah.
you tell me about alcohol and how it interferes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tell me more
So
about that.
yeah, so alcohol is a depressant, right? So it actually kind of slows you down and makes you really, really relaxed. And but it gets into your liver and causes your liver to have to really detox. And that's really hard work for your liver. And then also on your brain, it will feel like you're really relaxed, but actually your brain cannot sleep like it normally does when you have not had alcohol in it, in your system. So your brain doesn't shut down the parts that are supposed to when you're asleep. It doesn't detoxify how it needs to detoxify. So it really disrupts your sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing, because we think, oh man, it relaxes me so much, but it does not relax your brain. It actually wakes your brain up more. Not like a caffeine or not like a stimulant, but your brain does not rest well on alcohol.
I'm just curious. You talk about caffeine. I don't drink coffee or tea, but I do drink Diet Coke.
Mhm.
Do you include that in the caffeine family?
Yep. So Diet Coke does have caffeine. It also has artificial sweeteners, which the artificial sweeteners are very inflammatory, and that can um, that inflammation can be hard on your tissues and harder to heal. Yeah, and plus it has phosphoric acid in it, and that phosphoric acid is one that it so your body has a hard time absorbing calcium, and when you drink phosphoric acid, and that will in turn will pull the calcium out of your bones. So anytime you have a carbonated drink with phosphoric acid, you'll have a higher risk of like osteoporosis and bone degeneration, things like that. So,
Yeah.
and there's no nutrients in Diet Coke. So it does nothing for your body to heal.
What's the one in Diet Coke that I think you already mentioned it that people talk about?
The aspartame,
The aspartame, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it used to be banned in the United States in the early 80s. There was some research done, and so they banned it because of all the issues that they found that it caused, but then the lobbyists got it back in, and so it's back in our food system, and it can actually make your have a more of an appetite, and your body thinks it's getting it's very sweet. So your body thinks it's getting a big dose of sugar, and then it doesn't. And so it kind of messes up the metabolism, full versus needing calories in system in our body. And so we'll tend to be more hungry and have more cravings. And yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It is banned in some other countries. But in America, no, we don't usually ban very much, even though we probably should.
I've had the aspartame lecture before. And as a result, I do try to limit my Diet Coke to about 8 to 12 ounces in the morning.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and so I talk a lot about addiction, and I work with people, trying to stop all types of chemicals and like nicotine or caffeine, and it's all about awareness. So in the morning, see how long you can go. Like maybe definitely start off with water. Your body tends to be very dehydrated, and then just notice like how you're feeling, and then give yourself like when you're feeling like you have the awareness that you want your Diet Coke, you're ready for it, then kind of make that choice. Like, do I want the whole thing? Do I want a half? Do I want a few sips? Take a few sips and just notice, do I want more? Am I done? Do I want half of it? And it's just kind of an interesting awareness. We tend to get into these habits where we're like, oh, time for my Diet Coke. It's my habit, drink it down. When maybe you would only need a fourth of it today. Maybe you would need half, or maybe you would need the full.
And I went through, I used to smoke a long time ago, and I was successful in stopping use of tobacco.
Yeah.
But it's awful. I mean, it's just awful.
Yeah. That's hard, but you did it. So
I
that's
did.
amazing. Yeah. Yep. Amazing.
Did.
Good.
And now all my friends that never quit are either dying or are dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's no kidding. If you
No, I believe
if you
you.
smoke into your later years, the whole time you're gonna die. You're gonna die from it. There's no question in my mind.
Right. Yeah. It's a toxic chemical for your body. It's very inflammatory. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's good. I'm glad you were able to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a while. It took me
Yeah.
about 5 or 10 years before I actually quit.
Sure.
But I can't tell you how many times I tried.
Yeah.
I
Yep. And
finally got
that's,
it done.
yeah. Every time you try, sometimes it gets a little easier. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, and, like I'd mentioned, the alcohol, caffeine, tobacco, they all affect your sleep, and other chemicals and what you eat can definitely affect you, how you sleep. And we'll have a full talk on food as it relates to chronic pain. So here's some other ideas on sleep. So if you fall asleep okay, but find yourself waking up and having problems falling back asleep, it could be those thoughts coming in. It could be from your pain. It could be from anxiety or worry. And we've kind of already talked about that. So it's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. So sometimes you can fall back asleep by keeping your mind off your troubles. And so that's really kind of the time you may want to practice a distraction technique similar to what we just did, that thinking type. If you wake up and you're like, oh, I got to do all this stuff, I recommend having a piece of paper and or having a notebook and a pen right by your bed. And just writing that list down, get it all down, because your brain will go, okay, it's all there. I don't need to remember it. It's all right there. And, try to do that without, if you have a really light, soft light, don't turn the light on, because that can wake up the brain, but just maybe turning on a really nice soft light and writing it down, or keeping the light off and writing it down. And, who cares what it looks like? You'll probably still be able to understand it in the morning. And we'll practice some other relaxation techniques that might be very, very helpful. So if your sleep problems continue, or you don't feel refreshed and rested after sleeping, it's important to talk to your, your healthcare provider, because poor sleep can have many, many causes. And so it's good to try different things first, and keep trying different things, and then talk to your doctor if you still can't. So we're going to do this relaxation technique, and you may have done this before, you may have not have done this before, but this is called the body scan. So I want you to sit back, relax, and close your eyes, taking in a deep breath, breathing in through your nose if you can, filling your belly, filling your lungs, and exhaling fully. All right, and so on your next deep breath in, I want you to think of all the muscles in your face and in your head, maybe around your jaw, and breathe right into all those muscles. And as you exhale, I want you to think of all those muscles getting warm and relaxed and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, think of all the muscles in your shoulder and your neck. Breathe right into them. And as you exhale, think of all the muscles in your shoulders and neck, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, think of all the muscles in your chest and arms, all the way down to your hands and fingers or fingertips, and breathe right into them. As you exhale, just feel all the muscles in your neck, chest, arms, hands, warm and relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in, think about your whole torso, your stomach and your back, and breathe right into it. As you exhale, just think of your whole torso, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about your whole bottom, your hips and your pelvis and your bottom. Breathe right into it. As you exhale, just feel your whole hips, pelvis, and bottom sinking a little deeper into the chair beneath you. Warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in. Think about your upper legs and your knees and breathe right into them. As you exhale, just imagine and think warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in. Think of your lower legs and your ankles and breathe right into them. Your shins and your calf, your ankles. And as you exhale, just feel that area warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Next deep breath in. Think about all the muscles in your feet and your toes and the spaces between your toes, and breathe right into them. As you exhale, just feel all those muscles in your feet and toes and the spaces between your toes, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think of your whole body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes and breathe right into it, to your whole body. As you exhale, just feel your whole body warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. On every breath that comes in, just do a body scan and see if there's any tension or pain or stress, and breathe right into that spot. And as you exhale, just breathe out relaxation, breathe out the pain, breathe out the stress, and think warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Can continue this way for as long as you'd like. Your next deep breath in. As you exhale, wiggle your fingers and your toes, open your eyes and come back to the room. Tell me, how was that for you? Relaxing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really relaxing, especially after a busy day. It's like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite things to do. And you know, I walk my boys through this if they have a hard time sleeping, and it really helps connect, especially if you're overthinking or you're stressed or you just have so much on your mind, to relate that mind to your body. And so some days where I can't sleep, oh yeah, body scan, and I realize I'm kind of, you know, trying to sleep like a board. Well, and then I just relax and kind of sink my whole body into the bed, and then it you know, definitely helps to kind of reconnect that mind to the body, especially if you're really tight and tense. So that's a good one to do. So homework for next time is to make another action plan, something you want to do, achievable, action specific, answers those questions. You know, what do you want to do? How much time? When? How often? And then a confidence level of 7 or higher. So 10 would be totally sure. 7's like, yep, I think I'll be able to do that. And then 0 would be not at all. So tweak it so you can get it above 7. We want you to be successful. And then I think both of you have emailed me or let me know what your address is. So your class is on your way. And one of these action plans could be problem solving, distraction techniques, sleep ideas, or trying the body scan. And then I will be sending this this video to you, Dawn, so then you can go through the problem solving ones. And then, yeah, you can review the problem solving. So I think you just missed the first few minutes. So if you,
I'm looking forward to figuring out a way to get what you're telling us, to get that in my daily routine, to make it a habit.
Sure. Yeah. It takes time. That's why this session or this series is 6 weeks long, because it takes time. And I have definitely repeat offenders in this class a lot, because they know it works, and they just need a refresher, and it helps to have people to talk to and get new ideas, and so that's okay. So yeah, we'll continue to talk through these things.
In the book?
Yep. So all of these things will be in the book, yeah, as well.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Next week, we'll be talking about problem solving again, dealing with difficult emotions, physical activity intro. If we have time, there's actually in the book, you'll be getting a audio CD, and then in the book there's exercises, and we'll actually hopefully be able to do those next time. They feel really good and anybody can do them. And sometimes we have to modify them if we need to. So hopefully we'll try that. We'll talk about better breathing and then another action plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
I'm waiting for Marilyn to say something. I've been talking too much.
Okay. No questions. I do have to scoot. I've got a meeting here in a half an hour in a different town, so I got to go. So my action plan I decided on was to try and sleep every night this next week without using my sleeping aid. And my success rate, I'm going to say 4 out of 7 days, because I don't think I can do a full week without
Sure.
being asleep or staying asleep. So we'll see how it goes. If I can do it, one night or 2 nights. But if I can't, I have a really hard time at work if I don't get a good night's sleep. So
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting awareness to see what works. Okay.
alrighty. Thank you
Right.
so much, Miss
Yeah.
Stacy. See you
We'll
next
see you
week.
next week.
Oh no, I won't see you next week.
Oh,
So
that's
if you
right.
could tape it and then send it to me, that'd be great.
I
And
will.
then I will see you the week after.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so
See you.
much. Yep.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye
safe.
now.
Bye, Don.
Bye now.
Right, Don, did you have any questions?
No, I could, look, I'm old, okay? I retired at age 55.
Okay.
I'm now 75.
Yeah.
And I'm still fairly healthy, at least from a cardiovascular perspective. So I'm thankful for that. But I'm really interested in getting some of these techniques, what I call, good health techniques or whatever,